Growing up in Newport News, I couldn't see myself growing up anywhere else. You talk about the rich history of sports, the athletes that come from that area. The 757, as we call them, it was one of the highlights of my life.
This is actually my first year of ever playing the Mighty Mites, 4 Uses Eagles right here.
So for me, sports entered my life just because of my big brother.
When I was playing sports, and Antoine, well, I call him Kimi, basically, we was always at the games, basketball, football, always in the stands.
My big bro was my role model. He played football, basketball, and baseball. Everything that Lexon did, I wanted to do. Going into my junior year, my JV football coach, Coach Harrod, we were having a conversation one day after class.
We talked a little bit about basketball. I told Twan, I said, you know, there are 3 million people like you that's playing basketball. You know, you're not gonna get much taller. I said, you could play basketball, but you're gonna be a really good football player.
That comment that he made to me was something that I really held true. And then, you know, my junior, senior year were what they were. I had some good years on the gridiron.
Me and Howard, was going into my senior year.
It got me a chance to go to Howard University and continue to play football and get a great education. My DB coach at Howard University, Coach Ron Bolton, one of the best DB coaches that I've had. He was a HBCU alum as well. He played in the league. So the knowledge I was able to get from him was tremendous. What he was able to do for not only me, but the group of guys that will go into his room, not only as a coach, but a father figure, man, it was tremendous for us. Coach Ron Bolton, man, he created a monster out there in that secondary.
As Antoine Bethea on the stop defensively.
Antoine was introduced to me, I think it was the 2005-2006 draft. He was one of the safeties that was on my list of guys to evaluate from all the college draft eligible players. He just jumped out on the screen. At Howard, they lined him up 20 yards deep. There were times when it almost seemed like he made every tackle.
Bethea will make the stop. Bethea, again, is everywhere, isn't it?
What I noticed most about him was how fast he was, how hard he hit, and how aggressive he was in every phase of defense.
Burgess to midfield, almost beheaded by Bethea.
Coming into the draft, everybody wants to hear their name called. Bill Polian gave me that call and said that we're about to call your name with the 207th pick in the 6th round. You're gonna be an Indianapolis Colt. And that was a moment that I would never forget. A week or two later, I'm flying to Indianapolis, never been to Indianapolis a day in my life, not knowing what's really gonna happen. But when you walk in that locker room and you start looking at the name tags, right? You look at a Peyton Manning, you look at a Marvin Harrison, you look at a Reggie Wayne, you look at a Bob Sanders, a Jeff Saturday. You're looking at some greats. And the Indianapolis Colts were one of the top teams at that time. I was able to get my first start, actually the first NFL game of the season. Peyton Manning versus Eli Manning. They called it the Manning Bowl in New York. We started the season off 9-0. The guys took me under their wings and helped me game by game how to watch film, the way to play Colts football.
What Antoine was able to do at Howard, they thought without question that it would translate, and without question it did. He came in and he was a factor right away.
For Coach Dungy's system, he was a perfect fit. The things that we looked for were quickness, instinct, and strike, and he had all those.
We were playing really, really well, and we go to Super Bowl, man. We're in Miami. And it was history. You had Lovie Smith and Coach Dungy. First time 2 black head coaches were facing off in the Super Bowl.
At the Super Bowl, I was wondering if that stage was going to be too big for him, and it wasn't. Antoine was as steady and consistent as they come.
We went in the game knowing that and thinking that we were going to win. And for me, just thinking about like, man, last year this time, man, I was at Howard University, right? I was in Washington, D.C., and now my rookie year, I'm a Super Bowl champion.
Hello, how are you?
Congratulations.
Those 14 years afforded me a situation where I could change the dynamic of my family's name to start and create a legacy. And that legacy is something that when you talk about the philanthropy, that's dear to me. If I leave this earth and all they can say is that, hey, Antoine won a Super Bowl, he was a 3-time Pro Bowler, he played 14 years in the league, then I failed my time here on the earth. I want to be a great father, a great husband, but then also I want to leave a lasting impact. And that's how we fast forward to the Safe Haven Empowerment Center. There used to be an old Boys and Girls Club. I partnered with the city of Newport News, putting the renovations in there. People fall on hard times. That's gonna be life. But look, you can come in here, you can get different resources, you can get different help. Grown adults be able to come in there and empower themselves. We have 2 basketball courts. We have a swimming pool. One will bring a mental health aspect, a clothing closet where lightly used suits, clothes, shoes, people in the community can come in and grab. It will be a positive effect on our community and the people that look like me. And again, that's when you talk about legacy, that's when you talk about the philanthropy work. And when you're long gone, what are they gonna say about you?
As coaches, they would say you're not supposed to have favorites, but Antoine was a favorite. The glue that kept the whole secondary together was Antoine. He was the one that showed up. He was consistent. A coach's voice can only go so far. Antoine was the voice inside the locker room, inside the meeting room.
Antoine was a great teammate. Not a good teammate, not an average teammate, but a great teammate. Everybody loved him. Everybody respected his work habits and work ethic. Without question, I think that he's going to continue to have an impact in whatever area he chooses.
Antoine is a better person than he is football player. And his legacy should be that he's a good person.